Hello, my name is Jeremy Fox, and today I'll be talking to you about the former Apple CEO Steve Jobs and a speech that he gave at a Stanford University commencement entitled How to Live Before You Die. Steve was immediately able to capture the full audience attention, including myself, by coming right up to the stand and saying he had never actually graduated college and that this was the closest he had ever gotten to a real college graduation. That immediately captured my attention, as it did the rest of the audience. He was able to maintain the audience's engagement by using certain techniques such as panning and eye contact and different vocal delivery skills like volume, rate of delivery, projection, and pausing. I feel out of the 10 TED commandments that Steve was able to effectively showcase 3. And the first of which, show us the real you. During Steve's speech, he spoke of his failures, his successes, and dreams as a young adult. The second of which, make the complex plain. Steve, being a very technical person, could have went into technical detail throughout the 3 stories of his life that he told in his speech, but he didn't. And the third of which, connect with people's emotions. In one of Steve's stories, he went on to discuss his diagnosis of pancreatic cancer and also discussed the time when he found that he had been cured of that specific cancer. So that sent me, of course, and the rest of the audience on a roller coaster of emotion. So we could really feel, where he was coming from. Recently, I was watching a speech entitled Schools Kill Creativity by a speaker by the name of Sir Ken Robinson, and I'd like to quickly compare Steve's speech to Ken's. We'll start with Steve. Steve would often mention things that were funny, and I would laugh as well as the audience, except Steve wouldn't, and he wouldn't even smile, and in fact, he would just keep reading his speech right through it, and it kind of made things feel a little strange. Are we supposed to laugh? Was that supposed to be funny? So that was one thing. The second, like I said, he would talk over people while they were laughing or showing emotion to his speech. The third, he would often look down at his speech and actually write directly from his speech for quite a while at a time. And by quite a while, I mean a few seconds, maybe 7 or 8 seconds, but still that feels like a long time when you're watching somebody speak. And third, overall, he didn't show much emotion at all. Ken, however, when Ken would say something humorous, he would show emotion. He would laugh. He would smile, interact with the audience. He would wait for the audience to finish laughing or reacting to his speech before he would continue. His speech was memorized, and he didn't have to refer to cue cards or a speech, read directly from his speech, which allowed him to use a lot more eye contact and stay engaged with his audience a lot more. And last, he showed lots of emotion. He showed sadness. He showed seriousness when it was appropriate. He would laugh when things were funny. And that just all added to his speech. And in terms of dynamicism and how dynamic I would say Steve Jobs was in this specific speech, on our scale of 1 to 5, 1 being lowest, 5 being highest, I would give Steve a 3 being average, right up the middle. And there were 2 things that I think he could have improved on to really improve that score. One being variation in expression, and like I mentioned previously, showing a smile or laughing when things are funny, and his very little use of inflection. He did change his volume and projection and pause and things like that, but he didn't change his pitch very much at all. So I feel more inflection could have really improved his speech. And I learned a lot by watching Steve's speech, and I'd like to hit on 4 bullet points. 1, you must use emotion when you are speaking. You absolutely have to. It is critical. If you're not going to show emotion and get into your speech, no one watching you speak is going to as well. Second, break things up, add pauses. Third, use emphasis on important details. And last, try not to read from your speech if possible. And I was going to go over some bullet points for my classmates to consider when you're giving your speeches, but I just went over them. They're the exact same things. As I was starting to write them down, they were the exact same things that I learned by watching Steve's speech. So I'm going to reiterate them just real quick. First, you must show emotion in your speech. Second, break things up and add pauses. Third, use emphasis on important details of your speech. And last, try not to read from your speech if possible. So that will wrap things up for me. I hope this was enlightening and you learned something. And that'll do it. So thank you very much. Again, my name is Jeremy Fox, and thank you for watching.